Hello, everybody. This is the first day of Godot Jammers, or, or I'm going to work on game jams live. All of this is getting uploaded to YouTube when I'm done, so there will be a constant archive of what's going on. The jam I'm starting with is the Game Off 2025, which has just started yesterday, I believe, and runs for another 29 days. So I will be on here for 4 hours a day for the next 29 days working on this. All right, I'm going to start this project with a couple of base items that I always tend to throw in. I like to make a state machine and a behavior system. And every time I start a project without them, about a third of the way through, I'm kicking myself. So I'm going to make sure that I get these in. Create a folder to store all this. This is a fresh Godot project that's linked to a GitHub that I believe is in the channel descriptions. And I will keep that updated day by day so that anything that I do will be easily gathered back up. It's all open source, CC0 license. A lot of people, it seems like, tend to use the animation system for states, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather have a direct code-based state system in place. So I tend to make these every time. I'm not going to do this one as an abstract because this is going to be a node-based. So let me set up. I have these run on either physics or regular process. These are all pretty simple. It's a structure that I commonly set up, so I'm used to just plowing through them. But it is pretty early today, and I'm running kind of slow. Consider I'm going to be doing this for a month. I'm taking my time with it. I'm not in a rush. I need to define my interfaces here. I wish Godot had real interfaces. to remember how I normally set these up because I want to keep them similar to what I'm used to. Need a current, that's what the problem is. Some basics here. Run these in an hierarchical manner. Make sure that I can override whatever I need to as I go. So I want to be able to go through the entire chain here. Need it to be a direct state. The state itself. Here I've set these up to all run in sequence so that if I have nodes attached as child nodes, it's going to go through and find the, or go through all of them and cycle through all of the custom functions that I make. Yeah, if I find states. I can actually make that private. I'm not going to be using that outside of there. I could probably consolidate that down a little bit, but it's fine where it's at. These do not need deltas. The main part of the state machine is just checking to see if there is a next state required and switching to it, turning everything on and off as it goes. So I have a default that it starts with, calls its begin state, and then if that state triggers a go-to state, then it will go on to the next state that recognizes, and it all runs off of node names. Nice and simple. And we'll see that running here, hopefully today. Throw this in its own folder. So this is going to get cluttered very quickly. For behavior, I use a modified behavior tree setup. This one is going to be an abstract. I'm going to have a tick function attached to it. I just make my fail the 0 value. That way, if anything defaults out, it automatically gets listed as a failure, and hopefully I'll see it in the debugger. I'll leave that. I'll leave that where it's at. Okay. I think that's all I need for the base behavior. Oh no, I still want context, and I want a way to pass information around in it. Since this is not a node, I'm not going to be able to link things in. Put a context in. This is also going to have a somewhat hierarchical structure to it, so I want to make sure that any information that I put in one thing is available to everything. That will sync everything up. On public build that I'm going to call on all of them. Yeah. And that one is going to fail because it is not calling itself. And it's not going to let me merge both. My propagates. And I'm just putting structures in here. I will test them in a little while. Want a behavior group is going to be the base for sequence and selector. This one is also abstract. I'm not going to define a tick here. I'm going to add children and a custom initializer. I don't intend to do any kind of visualization for this, so it's going to rely on constructors and return values all working properly. So I actually want this to return a copy of itself. And that'll become more apparent when I start using it as to why I did that. So all I'm doing for this is copying that through. Okay. Yeah. I'll keep the behavior name in all this. Tick. Okay. Sequence needs to maintain its last position. Custom init here. I can make it 0 safely. It's off an index so that I have the number. And ignore everything up until where it was running. Yeah, now that I can do that. I don't have a public tick. Tick does not return that. It's running the last equals index and return running. If any of the children return running or fail, then it returns instantly after setting the indexer. I also want this one reset once I have a success. If it makes it through all of them, then it returns succeed, which is the common definition for a sequence. Also going to create a selector which runs a little bit differently. This one does not retain its location. Actually, I can do that'll return any succeed or running. That's if they all fail, then it's a fail. That one is easy enough. The last one is going to be a decorator. I definitely will want those. It's going to have a tick. This needs a child. And an initializer. Easy enough. And then whatever I put in the decorate is what it will actually return in the end. Do I need a custom initializer for this? Let me just run a quick test. No, that will pass through. Okay, so I don't need anything more for that. I think these are okay to start with. Now I can go into some actual scenes here and start making pieces to assemble. The theme for this game jam is wave. And I am going to be very simple here and do just a little wave-based tower defense game, which is one that I've played quite a few of, but I've never actually built one of these before, so this is going to get interesting. I'm going to start with a very basic tower here. What do I want to call it? This will eventually be inherited and moved around, but I'm going to make a base one for right now just to get something out in testing. and make a gun tower. Throw up a folder for towers. This one in it. We'll want a tower base type. So I'm going to throw a script in here. I will make one. Tower. And use Node 3D for right now. I can change this type. Throw a visual in here. Cylinder will do just fine for the moment. Too high is perfectly good standard. I'm going to give this a bit of a color. I'll make my gun tower blue. Will work. I also want to create an enemy base, something for it to track. See, I will make cubes out of these. Make a new folder for them. These. Where enemy is not actually going to be used in the end. Or if it is, it'll be given a much better name than that. These tend to be smaller than the towers in most games, so I'm going to make this one 0.5, up to no, wrong thing. This is the one I wanted. Look, what is the height on that is 2. Okay, so that looks like it will tower over a little bit, which is what we want. And make a base class for enemies. And I'm going to need some kind of path for these to walk around and for the tower to fire on. Create another 3D scene. Let's make this a level. Levels. All of these will eventually be designed in Blender, but right now I'm just making stubs. Let me throw a grid in for us to play on. Make it big. By 40. Ooh, wrong type of material. Don't want that. make the ground green. These colors are going to be very saturated initially. Just so that I can easily see everything when I'm testing. I should probably give the enemy a color. We'll make him red. Not purple, red. Red, okay. So test level. I'm going to need a path that I can move along. Do I want to do squares? What will I design? I think I'm going to actually make a path. One of the few things that I really don't like is Godot's path system. Oh, come on. Command click. Ah, there we go. I can't actually see the path because my plane is in the way. How do I curve this? There we go. Very basic path for things to follow. I'm going to put up some tower plates. Let me make a quick level script. So a tower plate, or tower placer, 3D scene. This will be part of the level. Make a folder for sub items here for tower bases. Get rid of this for now. Save that. Now I can create a scene and make it work. 3D. Tower base. I'm just going to make this a 1x1 plane. Serial. The red, I'll make it that color because that will contrast a little bit with the grass. In my test level, I have my path. I can throw a couple of tower bases in here. I want my Y to be up slightly. Just enough that it clearly shows on top. Where's my path at? Let me mute this for a moment. Tower bases. Gotta have one in the corner. Make another one. That will be good to start off with. It may be a little close to the path, but we'll find out when we start running enemies down it. Can always adjust them later. I'm making sure my screen quality isn't dropping too badly. So I have a level layout. We want a main game scene to run. That will consolidate everything. Uh, Game scene consolidates a level. That in. Test level. I should probably turn my ground back on. As bright as that is. I need a camera. I really like that they added a preview to this, so I don't gotta switch back and forth anymore. I'm gonna make this orthographic. So even though I'm doing 3D art, I want it to look more like a 2D game, since it's more of a 2D engine. Where is my, right there. Okay, I got an ortho size, let me make that 20. And in a -30. That is not a great game view unless you can span the entire thing. Make this a little smaller. So I'm getting rectangular bases instead of square bases. You know what? I may do a pure top down. And we will set the art up in such a way that it's not just pure circles. Set this up as my default scene with the quick way. Should get my camera and my ground view, which isn't showing us very much right now. Or I'm going to get nothing. That happens sometimes too. Oh, there it is. Okay, it took a while to get the base shaders in there. Yes, I need a light. Or I need to make everything unlit. For now, I'm just going to add a directional light. Orient it similar to the camera. Put it on to -60. Good, it's lit. Let me fix my size here. No. Set it to 4K. It'll be smaller eventually, but I'm gonna start it here just so I can see it clearly on my display. Good. Good. The size there is actually way too big. Pan that out. Go. When I do the actual ground sequence, I'll make sure that they can go more in all directions. Right. So the next thing I want to be able to do is click on one of these and make a tower. I'm also going to want to add some pan controls in for the camera. I may do that first just so I can pan around the whole thing. Go back into my settings and start some inputs. Simple ones. I normally do gamepad controls along with everything else, but for a tower defense game, I don't think that's going to work out so well. I can run those and attach them right to the camera. And I believe the UIs are going to be inverted. It will actually be up. Let's export a speed for something like this. Do 5 units a second ought to be pretty quick. I'm going to fix this at 10 on the Y. It's not going to matter since it's an ortho, but just to have a base vector for this. Let this be a and in my speed delta. All right, I should get motion on the camera here. I do. And the up and down is correct. Eventually have to make some world boundaries. Now it got the full range. All right, I need to make my tower bases clickable. Area. Little box on it. already 1x1, which is perfect. I don't really need to adjust the height since we're going on a single view. Do need an input setup for it. Here we go. Where do I want to put this? I'm going to add a control script in here. Power add control. Good enough for now. We attach the inputs. Input cell. Input event, I want to make sure is a mouse click and that it's inside this region. So first off, I don't know what all events this gets sent, so I'm going to just get a full list of crap. I rarely use this. Okay, so mouse motion I get when I move into it, and I do get clicks inside of it. Easy enough. Next, I'm going to make a build tower. Real quick print in there, make sure my input is doing what I need it to. Nothing on the mouse over, click. Yes, it only triggers once. Now it does trigger on the right click, which I may not want, so I gotta limit the button here. Oh, button left, okay. Make sure my right click is limited. Right, left click works, right click does not. Good. Now I can actually build the tower. To do that, I want to create a spawner class or factory. To be able to link in all my things. Right now there's only one. I got the main tower and that's it. Want a actually this is going to be a constant. Throw that path in it. Yeah, string, not vaccine. I don't want to load them just yet. Right now, I'm going to have manual loads on. Freeloaders will come later, so we see where the resources are going. I need a way to access this. There we go. Now I have a constant reference to my factory. Tower base. Not tower base. Tower base is control node. Going to okay. What do I want to add this to? For now, I'll just add it to the current scene. Right click. Yes, I get a blue turret. I'm going to go into my turrets here. Try to get a... Now, how do I want to do the view on this? Game scene. So I'm not entirely sure I like the top down. And I don't want to start angling everything as if I'm going to keep it. -60 there, and let me give it a light side angle, 15-degree side angle. Not liking the side angle. I either got to do a pure isometric here or I need to do a straight view. Turn that to a straight view and see. That's not bad. I think that will work. Let me start spawning some enemies. So my game scene, add node, enemy spawner. An empty script for right now. Every 5 seconds we'll spawn an enemy. And actually, this is not going to go on game scene. This is going to be part of the map. Enemy spawner will need the path to start off. The enemy will need a path follower. Progress ratio. Let's see. So progress is the distance, so I can actually set a real speed. Set as a child of Path 3D. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to change this type to a path follower. And get rid of this. It's weird, it didn't change the icon. To clearly listed there. Okay, that did it. This is a path follow. My level, I have my path, enemy spawner. Needs a script. That out. Oh. And I was trying to read something and got scattered. It will happen often. Generic spawn enemy function. I need to add one into my factory here. Get my enemy path. Right. My level. Yeah, I'm on my level. Oh, yes, spawner, spawn enemy. Make this private because I'm not going to need it elsewhere. Anything else that needs it will get a direct link to it, most likely. Yeah. Enemy position. I don't think that uses position. What does the path follower use? Progress. this thing. What is this? Okay. So I want this to spawn about every 1 second. So yeah, I can do it this way. Five seconds. Loop. Make sure I knock these out. What is this? Oh, a bunch of extra stuff in my input for these. That's all that was. Now this should be spawning enemies at the beginning of the path every 5 seconds. Oh, right. No value. Spawn enemy. We got a timer. So this is somewhere. This is nulled. Did I set the path? No, I didn't. Thought I had. There he is. Even follows the rotation. I'm not going to let it run too long because it's spawning one every few seconds. Move around, I can create a tower. Enemies are spawning. So I need the enemies to move along the path. Let me get into my enemy here. My enemy sitting there, square enemy. What is all right now? So here I'm going to test out my state machine. It's with an overridden script. It's loading. Always create a loading state. I'll let that run on the process for now. This one will be pretty simple. Right now it's just going to have a moving state. A set motion speed. I need a way to determine what state is active. So get into my base class here. It's by default. Nice and easy for that. I could set this up where it was actually turning on and off the physics and process, but I would rather manually check it. Right. In my physics process, I'm going to link to the owner. Should be that simple. Let's see. I don't think I set a speed. And I definitely didn't change states to this one. Because I didn't name it right. It's moving, goes to moving, speed. Make this, make it 2 for now. I want to start them off by moving them slow. There he goes. Oh, that's already pretty quick. Follows the path. Let's see what happens when he ends the path. Oh, there's another one. They're spawning. Looks like my spacing isn't horrible on the towers. Throw up a tower. Yeah. And am I going to crash when I hit the end of the path? Nope, they just vanish. Probably go back to the beginning of the path. Yep, there's some doubles. So I need to detect when I have ended the path. Do they have... No, they got nothing for that. So I believe progress keeps going up after hold distance. Progress ratio, I can use that because that goes from 0 to 1 and then resets. So if let's I'll just get rid of the enemy for now once it reaches the end of the path. Tower. Yep. And that's all the interaction I get at this point. Vanish, do they respawn? Nope, they are gone. Okay. All right. My enemies are spawning. They are moving. What else do I need to put in for right now? I get my gun shooting at things, or at least tracking things. Well, my enemy is going to need a certain amount of life. A lot of these will probably become name classes on their own, but for right now, I'm just setting up the structure, so I will get to that when it's necessary. Put in the signal. We'll put in two signals. Hit and dead. Type is not used at this point. I'm keeping that as a placeholder because I know I will need it, especially with towers of different types doing different types of damage, explosive damage, and things like that. So. Another state for dead, and add a listener. Death listener. Moving is a child of. Death listener is going to get a script. It's going to absorb this signal. Dead. All this entire class does is listen for a death state or a death signal. Switches it over to the dead state. Which I have to figure out what I'm doing when it dies. So eventually there will be some kind of animation, whether it's exploding or falling down or something like that. Right now I'm just going to run a timer. One second timer. And get rid of it. So it should stop moving for 1 second and then die once it's dead. Life monitor, inspector. Let me start with 10 in health. Where is my tower? Now this one is also going to have a state machine. Create a loading state. I am actually going to make a default loading state based on what I did on the enemy, because they're all going to be more or less the same for a while. Let's see, this goes in my core classes. Okay. Sure. Yep. Okay. Loading states. That's linked to the right thing. Oh, this I need. I'm gonna use this in multiple areas. I gotta make it customizable. Loading, yep, links to that. Moving out there, okay. I have a searching. I need an index of enemies, so I'm actually going to turn this into a group. Or add it to a group. Enemies, global, okay. And all my enemies will go into that. This class, this one. Oh, I don't have a custom class on this one yet. Let me make one. So I'm going to have a find enemy. States. Start with no one in range. We do a search. Nodes, hemp. I need to make sure that that's what I named that group. So my memory is horrible. Hip it is. Okay. I need my roots. That should always be true. And I get a distance. I need to retain, yes, I need to retain which one is being targeted at any given time. I'm going to add a fire control node here. State, nope, not a state. Firing. Empty scripts. Just add a targeted enemy for now. Link that in. Where did I put that? Oh, because it's not compiling, that's all it is. There it is. Okay, firing is that. No max. Thought there was a max float. Maybe there wasn't. Operator. Probably written as a function. Okay, I'm just going to throw in something that I know I'm never going to use. And Check both of those. Now I need a threshold. Range, let's do a range of 10. It's gonna be pretty big. Let me make it 5. I have to make that. That's just so I got the names there. All I want to do on this is return an enemy. I don't need that. Yeah, I know I'm duplicating the distance there, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I'd rather keep things separated for now. And so that's true now. Delta. Need to do my check. And I can add my firing state. Right. Node targeted. Firing node may be used for other things in the future. It may not. I'm not sure yet. But I like having it there in case I do want it. It'll make it a lot quicker. Just pass that. Enemy dead. Those are going to be the two things I'm looking for. So, dead and out of range. And if either of them is true, then I go back to searching. take a look at this real quick, make sure that my stream is still running. I may be offline. Let me see here. No, it looks like I'm online. Okay. No, it looks like I'm online. Okay. No, it looks like all right. Back to it. Stuff. What was I doing before I got distracted by stream alerts? I'm setting up the firing. So firing is going to happen over time. I'm going to set those up. Just using damage amounts for now. So fire time, do 5 per second. Damage amount is 1. So 2 seconds should kill the enemy. Want to set up a timer. I'm going to have it decrement the timer, make it a little easier. Fire function. I need to pull the targeted enemy. Have that node there. Specify that because I don't have the class name for the targeting yet. This is not a function. Targeted enemy, yes. So my enemy right now is empty, so I need him to accept damage. I'm not going to, well, should I have shots in there? I'm not going to visualize the shots yet because most of them are going to be bullets fast, something like that, potentially. So for right now, I'm just going to do an apply damage. And that in the life monitor is, yes, that's the same function. So back to my tower. fire timer, I got that taken away. It might begin. I'm going to start with the firing delay. Apply damage. And I only have one damage type right now. Okay. What happens when the enemy is dead? I'll need to fill those states. Enemy dead. To my enemy, I need an is dead. Is triggered from here. I can use, all right, it's not a custom. I'm going to throw a custom script on top of this. I don't have any links to the root of the state machine, so that one's probably not going to work very well. I need a better way to do that. Get rid of that script. Or was that? Close that. I can signal from here to that. So let me throw in a just do it this way. Timer begin states. I don't even need to retain that. Oh yeah, I do, because this needs to be. Set that there. And how are my firing? So I'm going to check both of these from here. Check this one afterwards. Where is my target? I don't have a target. There may be a more condensed way I can do that, but not right now. And then the range I check before I fire. Actually check that every frame. This can go inside of that. So here. No roots again. range I had in one thing, I'm going to want it in another. So I have to find a more global way to do that. Let me throw it into the tower. Load you into the tower. I had that at 5. And that, of course, will change with the tower settings later. So searching no longer needs its own range. This needs the root range. And firing, I get access to my range there. And then no distance. Okay. I don't need to obtain this. So out of range or dead, put it back into searching. So I wrote a lot of code there without testing anything. So let's see what happens. It will be a surprise. Tower up right now. Run state, current state, current state, fine, defaults. State from current state, default is empty. Oh. Tower, okay. Enemy, okay. What happens if there are no enemies? Equals nearest enemy. Fill it right there. Tower. All right, tower's there. Current state, begin state. So I got another one in the enemy here. Did I could have swore I set that one. Tower. Enemy popped up. Dead. Okay. Firing targeted as enemy. So it went back to searching and it found the same enemy again that was already dead. So first, your enemy is not going to iterate over the dead enemies. And second, when I am firing, now I have that after the fire, but something else may kill him. So I'm actually going to check this before I even do the distance. Break it off there. Our range is true. Return. Both of those return. Okay. All right. I think I got most of that. Most of the errors knocked out. Let's see. You. Okay, he died, he went away. That's a very quick death. I want a life bar on my enemies so I can see what's going on with them. So let me make up. Well, how do I want to do this one? So most of this is going to be 3D. What do I want to make a 3D life bar? Or do I want to try to align a user interface or a 2D to it? For now, I will just make a quick 3D life bar. And I'll just name this life bar. Customize it later. Enemies, levels. Yeah, I'll throw it in enemies. Use life bar scene. A mesh. Let me make a capsule. Really small capsule. Combine. Yeah. It's give it a base color for now. The color will probably change since it's a life bar, but I'm not worried about that just yet. Make it green. Greenish. Make it a little darker than the ground is right now so that we can actually see the thing. And I can just scale this. Make a life bar class and scripts. New comments. Set life. I'm going to do I want to do it in here. I normally don't like doing these here. Life bar type. Okay. I am going to have this function on the outside, but I have to figure out what it's going to activate. I think it's just going to activate the script on the mesh. A duplicate function name. And what is my scale direction? Where did I make it? This is, let me see this in local space. It's local, it's the Y scale. Could be something like that. Yep, Y scale. Right. Okay, that's a nice easy one. And then this one I just got to propagate through. Okay, enemy. Now the enemy is going to move. He's going to be rotating. So I want a life bar that's not rotating with him, but that is moving with him. I don't think there is an automatic. The visibility, visibility parent is not what I want. Okay, top level. Does not inherit transforms from its parents. Okay, so I can add this as, so my life bar is always, ooh, I set my script wrong. 3D. That's better. So this is always going to be top level. I'm going to link an object to it. And I can grab that out of the owner. Me. And in physics process. And add a little bit of Y to it, move it up. So that's not right on top of the enemy or right under the enemy, as the case may be. Then I can attach it. Throw that in there. Of course, it's going to show up there because it's set for top level, but I'm not worried about that right now. What was the size of this cube? I think it was 0.5. Yeah, so one should be plenty. Life monitor. This is accepting undead or signaling undead. I want to signal the on hits to, let me, hits. Things. Throw a third signal in for that. that's already been adjusted. That way. Then hit and then dead. Okay. Then I can signal to life bar pick. Aha. Now those match. Put that up there. All right, let's see. With the life bar. Tower up. Ah, there's the life bar. I may want to adjust that position a little. Ooh, one hit and dead. No, that's not right. So let me look at my enemy first. How much damage can he take? He can take 10. Where is my tower? Firing. He can project 1 every 0.2 seconds, so it should not be instant like that. Fire timer. Equal fire time. I'm going to see if I'm firing more than once at each one of these first. Okay, so that was a single shot. Right. My damage is being set there. So now back into my enemy. Square enemy. Oh, life monitor. Is this thing fucking up? Current life less than 0. So current life minus equal amount. We'll print in. Throw a print in there to see what's going on. How much damage it thinks it's trying to do. -1. Current life. That would be 1. It was starting at 0. Let's see what we get now. Up there, it's shrinking and dead. Good, good. Yep, the scale on that drops. It would probably be better if it went to one side, but for right now, it is fine. It's something that can be adjusted later. All right. Oh, we are currently at a point where we got enemies moving around. We got a little light bar on them. We'll put up a tower. Enemies moving around. We got a little light bar on them. We'll put up a tower. Enemies moving around. We got a little. So thankfully this is a pretty easy engine, which will give me plenty of time for art and for polish, which is good because I am not remotely an artist. So that's going to get interesting. What else do I want to get done today? And this is for Jam that I just signed up for this morning, so this is not thought through at all. I would like some kind of visual on the shot. or at least on damaging. But I would need to create an actual turret for that. I may spend the rest of the day making a turret. Or making the first tower. Let me pop up Blender. It's going to take a moment to load. Okay. Oh, I need a tower. And this is the wrong version of Blender. I wanted to try using 4.5 here. Give me 1 second. Let me find out what happened to that. There it is. It was hiding. I need to make a shortcut for it. This is going to be my first time using 4.5. I've been on 4.4 for a little while. So there may be a little bit of learning curve if I run into anything that they've changed. They like to do that sometimes. Right. Getting my file set up before I pull it over to the screen. Okay, so let's see how different this actually is. Let's start with my cylinder. That's too high and too wide. So that's basically what I have in there right now. Make that half the size. Another cylinder. Let's add some guns. The board is going to be this way in Godot. So there. I'm not too worried about poly count at this point. I'll mess with it if I have to. But I do like having nice smooth objects on everything. That on. Tiny little bevel here. And yes, it's probably way too detailed for what I need, but that's fine. I'd rather start more detailed and scale it back later. So there I got I'm going to make this a two-piece because I want the top to move and I want the base to stay stationary. So let me grab these and most of this. How is that going to rotate? Not well. Unless I inset. Should be able to do something with that. And separate that out into its own thing. Let's say it looks pretty bad. What can I do here? That's on. Let me get in here and oh, is that on both objects? Is that what was going on there? Let me embed that a little bit, make it clearly separated. There we go. Now I can separate it and spin it separately. So I want turret base, top. What is this turret? This is a test turret. Test tower. Throwing a VLTF exporter on it. And no animation. I'm going to apply that. Yeah, I want to throw some materials on this guy. Pick this one. This blender likes to run slow. That's not good. That one's running real slow. Let's see what it's doing. Okay. Got control back. Let's try this again. Material, do that. Material preview. Okay. I'm going to stay with my blue for now. Base material. Material, what color should I make this? I can do a silverish. All that's going to do is swivel. I just want a thing in there as a marker for more permanent art later. All right, I can export that. Okay, let me throw that into my projects. Okay, so now if I go back to Godot, it's importing my turret, hopefully. Let's see, towers, models, test tower. Aha, there it is. Not a very good tower, but it will work for right now. So gun tower, I'm going to make an inherited of this. That name got messed up. Oh, okay, I didn't set anything in here. So I make that a tower. Root name is test tower. Imports. Inherited off of that. Yep, there's the tower base in the top. Two towers. Test tower. There it is. I have both parts selectable. I got my turret top. Okay. I'm going to, from my original tower, I'm going to copy my firing and state over all my functional parts. Eventually I'll have an importer for all that. But for right now, I just want to test this on here. Searching firing is going to turn the turret top towards the enemy that it's shooting at. So I need to rotator, call it that. That is a mesh. Not active. All right, so I check to make sure that my enemy is there and not dead. So right here. Look at is it's good. Use model front, I think, is going to be the case. Just with that in there. Oh, it's not. I need to change my factory to look at that. Tower. And tower. Make this test tower. Ah, there's my tower. Hey, pan around. I'm not firing and I'm not rotating. Means I didn't link something in right. I made this new one. Let me take a quick browse through. Okay, range. I have to set. That was previously 5. Yep, I need to link everything. Firing is empty. State machine. That's good. That's good. Need to assign this. Need to assign this. Fire time is 0.2. Damage is 1. Rotator. My top. Okay. My tower. Aha, there we go. It's a little interactive. Okay. So what else do I want to get in here? I got my base little tower. I'm going to try to focus more on the engine side for today. So I need a way to select which tower goes in. That means some kind of pop-up and some kind of icons. So let me start into a UI setup. This is going to be tower select. This a V-Box. Okay. Let me make a UI folder. I can save this into. Right now, I'm just going to put a couple of buttons in. This is put in test tower. And what was my other one? Oh, gun tower. Even though they both work exactly the same right now. Different visual on each one. This is going to show as a pop-up. Means I may need to put a window in here. Change type to window. And reparent these to X. There's a window. Enable toggle mode. Those are buttons. How about this? Mode. Title. Position will be set when I click the thing. Borderless. This will pop up. So back in my base. This is where I'm clicking on it to pick the thing. So, events, build tower is what I'm calling right now. I will need to update my factory to add that menu in. Right. Where's my square? Oh, base. I was already on. Now, I have not played with pop-up windows much, so this is going to be a kind of brute force guess and check as to how this is going to work. All right. I'm just going to throw a pop-up and a show in there and see what happens. I need to change my function call to that instead of build tower. There is no pop-up. Yep, no pop-up. No real errors either. This is serving range. Pop up that show. Okay, I think this has to be pop up. Oh, okay. And I give it a position. Pop up. Parents. I might have to look up what the difference is. So again, I'm not very familiar with doing this. Minimum size uncentered. Center of the current screen. If rectangle is provided, it will be set as the window size. Global coordinates if specified. Will be placed at the top left. So it looks like I can specify a screen coordinate and zero out the rest. I'm going to test that. Up. X and Y 100 by 100, 0, 0. This should pop in a little ways into the screen. And I got nothing. Oh, I do have debugger errors this time, so that's something. Data tree, P window. I have to add this as a child to something before I can do that. See if I can just add it to the base itself. All right, the debugger errors didn't pop, so that's something, but I'm also not seeing anything. So it likes that, it just doesn't particularly work. So let me change the size of this to 200 by 200. See if I see a window. I really hope I don't have to do that manually. Oh yeah, there it is. That figures. Okay, is there any way to make this pop up at just a location? There's a centered. Exclusive centered. Parent. No. It's not looking like there is going to be a good solution to this. Which makes me not want to use a window, but manually place a UI that will auto size itself. I think that would be a bit easier to deal with. So do I need this marked as a pop-up window? That don't show. Oh, I don't need this as a window at all. And let me put it back to a VBox. And so go back to this. Yeah, right here. Pop-up add. Okay, so pop-up's not going to work anymore. As control. Staying here. Add child. All right, pop-up equals that. Add child. Let me see. Yeah, so I can set a position. So let me just add it and see where it shows up at. Yes, there it is in the corner. Good. No, this is inputs. I can actually extract the mouse position from here. Event position as a vector 3, normal as a vector 3. What is this when it's coming off of a mouse? Vector 2, yes. Okay, that's what I want. There we go. Test tower and gun tower. All right. Buttons will definitely need to be bigger. They'll probably have icons attached to them. Right now, I want to add a click and a signal. So I'm going to want a custom class for this thing. Tower select script. Sends, what does this say? Make it a VBox. Is I'm going to link both my buttons. I'll put a signal. So I don't really have a type array yet. I'll need to eventually make one. I may just have this build the model and send it back. I think that work. Let me link this in, press connect to this. And test press this one. Go back to my factory, make sure I got both guns in, or both turrets in there. I don't. Test tower. Gun tower. Create gun tower. So this is index 1. Test tower. That returns that tower. I got both towers in there. Now I can go back to my selector. It's this is test tower. Both cases, I want a all right, that's a very quick version of that. It probably won't last for long, but for right now, it's all good. All right, so this is showing the menu. And this menu now has a specific type, so I can throw that in the factory. Pop up. So that's a tower select position. Build tower. 2. Position, get tree. Okay, let's see if all that worked. I should be able to build both of them now. Test tower here. Put up a gun tower here. Haha. All right, so I got both my towers up. Of course, that one still works. I'm definitely seeing a flicker. I think this is the enemy spawning before it ends up in position. So let me look at where my enemies are spawning and fix that up. Game scene, test level. That's right, it's in the level. Enemy spawner. So this progress won't update until the next frame, since it's a node path, or a path following node. So I need to set up a different way of making this invisible. And I may just be able to change the position way out of range. So either that'll work or they'll never appear at all. Let's see which one it is. Okay, they appeared. Watch the center and see if that glitch is still there. Nope, it is still popping up. Yep. Oh, it's showing the health bar. That's it. Health bar. Ready. That may be it. Update this. I don't have a delta. All right, I don't see anything appearing. There he goes. Yeah, I'm not getting that glitch anymore. Good. All right. So where we're at so far is I got my little blocks. I have my enemies come in. I can pick which tower I want out of my blocks. I got one that has a little bit of visualization to it and one that's not so much. And they all shoot at the enemy when they're in a specific range. Eventually I'll have to visualize the range. I also, yes, I shouldn't be able to reselect the tower once there is a tower. So let me mark these as finished. And okay, so inputs there. Cancel that, and then here where we build the tower, I'm going to activate it. I'll eventually need to put a cancel on the tower select, but for now it's fine. Once I pick out a tower, that should be it. Yes, I can no longer get a click on that, so that's perfect. All right, so our life bars are there. And so the next thing I wanted to do was start working on a little bit of the variation on the enemies. Because right now I just have the one square enemy coming in, and that's not very much going on. Well, I may wait on that until I start working on the graphics. Instead, I want to try to stick to the core engine. So I'm going to put the damage in for the level itself. So that we get a game over screen at some point. We let too many of the enemies through. I have a spawner. I'm going to add another control node. This one is going to be for level life. Unlike the enemies, I'm just going to have an amount here. I'm not going to have a type at all. Do want to set up a controller for the current life. And I'm going to want to create a UI element to show what our current life is at. So this is going to be part of our main HUD. That's right. That's the main life bar. The main life bar is going to show the life bar of the level. Eventually there will be other UI elements like the money collected and things like that. Because we're going to have to set up a way to buy towers, so enemies are going to be worth money. I'm going to throw in a couple of texture rectangles that go across most of the screen. And change this to a center container. Texture, what do I want? Actually, I want to make these color bars instead of textures. Yeah, that works. Make the back one red. Duplicate it and make this one Leave it there. Let's make it green. There is a lot of green in this scene so far, but that's all right. Layout, minimum size. Let's make it 400 wide, yeah. I can just do that for now. So you get a main script, main life bar. Link out this color bar. See, that's the red. Link out the green one. Really, I could just do. Want to change the minimum size. That's, what did I do initially? 400? I did 400. And what is this thing? Excel. I'm going to instance this one. Make sure that I have it set. That will update as the scenes change and always be set to the current one. HUD. I'm going to change this for right now to a, change it to a VBox. Add in my life bar. There we go, top of the screen, centered. I'm going to change this one to have a display with it. I keep a center here, and throw a label in with the title. Hard to see right now because I haven't done anything with the theme yet, but when I do, it will be there. So now I have life remaining at the top of the screen with the bar. Let's make sure that that pops in. It does not because I never added it to the game scene. Now this is in my game scene. It is right at the top. Now I got to make a change as these guys go through. So my enemies need to have a certain amount of damage that they deal, while my game needs to have an amount of damage that it absorbs. Back to my level. Put in my level life here. It's got the applied damage. I adjust my damage. Then I'm going to grab my set life to current. Where is my max? Max is defined in the root, which is unnecessary at this point. I'm going to throw that down here. Set it to, I'll put it at 100 for right now, and I'll have each of these guys do a good amount of damage so we're not sitting here watching it forever. I also want a signal to project for when the level should be over. And I'm going to capture that by the, well, I'm not going to capture it just yet. I will throw in a print level over, just to make sure that everything is wired right. All right, so I got my burr. I want to clamp this thing. And my enemy, all I got is my little square enemy. He's right here. I got him open already. Life monitor. And that should be a main enemy feature. So I'll put it in the root here. Get the damage amount from that. My dead state is going to, oh no, not my dead state. That's on my enemy. Where am I clearing him off? Oh, he is clearing off of moving right here. And I will eventually put in an attack state because I'm sure the enemy is going to do something before he vanishes. But for right now, I'm going to project a signal. Make a convenience function in the root. Do that before I free it. All right, easy enough. Let me make this guy, my full damage is 100, so I'll do 20. Now I need to capture this attack signal, which means going into the spawner of the level and grabbing it there. Spawn enemy. This level, where do I apply my damage? Oh, level life. Apply damage, amount. Good, the functions match up. Need a link to that. And I don't think I have a specific type. No, I don't. It's just supply damage. Attack dots connect to and so we got that connected. I'm going to wait and watch them all go through. So I got my green, fully green right now. And that should scan. Yeah, that scans with the scene. I gotta wait for it to spawn 5 of these it will take to kill me. See what happens when each one hits. Vanished. Ooh, that became full red immediately. And propped a level over. So I need to figure out whether it's attacking multiple times or something is wrong in one of my numbers. Square enemy, the damage is 20. Do attack. I'm going to throw a print in right here. Yeah, probably don't need one. Attack.emit. This is going to the test level. This is the other file I need. Level life. Oh, the same mistake I made previously. This is never being set. It was 0 the whole time. So I'll try this again. If I have to test this much more, I'm going to speed them up. But I think this should get it. There we go. I got a partial. Okay, it is in a center container, so it's slowly wearing down towards the middle. Which is fine for the moment. It gives the impression. Yep, one more hit. Now this is prompting level over every time it hits, which is not right. If current life, because it's not embedded in an if. So one more time, I'm going to speed up my enemy. Let's make a move at 8. And the spawn, I'm going to increase to, I don't have a set amount for that. I must have just hard coded that. Yeah, right there. Put a 2-second timer on him instead. Eventually, I'm going to need to make those variables in places where I can easily access them. But for right now, they're fine where they're at. 2. There we go. And then I triggered the first print. All right. So far today we have stubs in for towers, enemies, locations to build towers, and everything is semi-moving. So I think that is a good place to call it for today. And I will be back on tomorrow from 8 to 10 Eastern, or not 8 to 10, 8 to noon Eastern, if anyone wants to join in.